Hello, my name is Stephen Jones. I am your current at-large City Council Place 5 representative. I have been in this community for about 30 years, and well before I became involved in public office, I tried to serve the community by volunteering as many places as I possibly could. I moved here in 1991 from Guntersville, Alabama, in the hospitality industry, and took a job as the general manager of the Quality Inn Beachside on West Beach in Gulf Shores. And as soon as I got here, I came to the local Chamber of Commerce and said, I'm the new general manager at the hotel. We are a Chamber of Commerce member. If there's anything that I can do to help assist you all or volunteer in the community, I'm willing to do so, because I wanted to establish myself here. I had never visited Gulf Shores before I came here to take this job. I'd served in other resort communities like Fort Lauderdale, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, Jekyll Island, Georgia. I've worked in Dallas, Texas, Montgomery, Alabama, Birmingham, had been all over the Southeast pretty much, and was just following my career as a hotel manager. I was now an independent after having first worked for a very large corporation with 100 contracts in 38 states, which is where I cut my teeth in the hospitality industry. It was only about a couple of weeks after I'd been here that I realized this place was truly special. There weren't but about 5,000 people living here then, but these wonderful people took me up on my offer for volunteerism and put me to work doing a number of different things in the community. There was a very active and strong Kiwanis Club here. I joined that Kiwanis Club as I had been a Kiwanian in Guntersville, and succeeded through the succession of officers there, secretary, treasurer, president of the club, and that just led to more things that came about in the community. Involvement with the schools. I married late, and my stepson was one of the 2009 graduates of the Gulf Shores High School, and at the time I moved here there was no high school. So a lot has happened since I moved here. I'm very proud of the progress that the city has made, and most of the progress I think that the city has made has come from listening to the citizens. The school system needed to be upgraded. The citizens came to us and said, we want better than what we have from the Baldwin County school system. We listened and found a way to fund and get this school system up and running, which I think is one of the most important things we can do. The quality of a community is judged many times on the quality of your health care, the quality of your education, and the environment. A very sensitive and fragile environment here in Gulf Shores, and I think that at least on those three things, your city council has listened to you, the citizens, has been forward-thinking and progressive, and has done all we can to make improvements, massive strides in education, healthcare, and protecting the environment with the Special Leave Only Footprints program. I want to continue my service. I am ready, willing, and able to serve, and I ask for your support on August 25th. Thank you.
One of the many challenges faced by many of our local businesses is finding and maintaining adequate staffing to operate their business year-round. The challenge is complex and changes throughout the year based on the tourist seasons, but a large part of the challenge appears to be due to a lack of educational and training opportunities, as well as affordable housing options in our area. Are you aware of such workforce development issues in our area, and how would you help our businesses address those challenges?
That is a great question, and an age-old question. I have been here again since 1991 when I moved here in the hospitality industry to manage a hotel. That was an issue 30 years ago. We always struggled to have enough employees to staff our businesses, and even back then, if you have a community of 5,000 people where a lot of those people do not live in this area but also commute back and forth to work, you have more businesses and more job openings than you do people. The challenge has always been there. It's always been real. And a lot of employees would go down the street to your competitor for a nickel more. A lot has changed since then. There are a lot more people living in the region. The region has grown. And as technology has advanced, I think it's been an opportunity for some staffing to be reduced, because technology has been able to replace people in many regards. The workforce housing issue has come up. We have approached dormitories. We have tried to figure out how someone could afford to get into that business, to house more employees and make it opportunities for employees to live and work here. And the challenge is still there. The economic issue in Gulf Shores is that as property values have risen, rental properties have gone up in price, and that makes it a bit more difficult as well for businesses to keep people locally that are able to live and work and serve their businesses. I think that the improvements in infrastructure for sidewalk, bike, walk, live, work, We are adding rental inventory for apartment complexes down here that gives a place for your seasonal employees and or your year-round employees even to stack up, room up 3-4 to a unit possibly, and be able to actually bike and walk to work instead of clogging up the roads with traffic and whatnot. We're trying to make this a more livable, walkable community, and as employees come into the area, there are enough business opportunities and jobs for them to get decent employment, and it's more year-round now than it has been. I think this is something that we have worked on as a city, we've worked on as a business community. So again, the challenge is there, but it is not something that has been ignored.
As our local area and economy grows, we need investments to expand and improve existing infrastructure. Such investments include things like better educational facilities, quality health care facilities, continued traffic improvements such as new roads and bridges, expanded access to high-speed internet, and better access to our natural resources and public facilities. What infrastructure issues would you like to address, and would you support continued investments to expand and improve the existing infrastructure here?
Exactly. Every item that you just mentioned are projects that have been asked questions of, we've seen the growth, and those are issues that are actually being addressed at this time by the City of Gulf Shores. There are, for instance, $54 million worth of traffic and infrastructure improvements that are on the books. Engineering is underway right now to engineer those changes. Those are a combination of federal grants, state grants, cooperation with our Alabama Department of Transportation, and local match from the city. Some of those items are way overdue, but you cannot go out and just borrow a ton of money and spend the things that we have to spend money on that we know are important. Those things cannot happen overnight. If you have a credit card and only a certain amount of income, you have to be careful with how much credit that you build, because you have to make sure you have a way to pay that credit back. The issues have grown, I think, exponentially over maybe the past 3 or 4 years. We are a ridiculously attractive and wonderful vacation destination, and there are only a certain amount of infrastructure that exists at this time. We can't buy property, we can't grow the roads. I mean, they're not making any more land, but the amount of improvements that are coming forth in the next, I'm going to say within 3 years, you will see Highway 59 widened. You will see improvements in the intersections where the traffic is heavy and high. You have seen improvements at the beachfront for the public access, mostly I think for our residents. We built a fishing pier on Little Lagoon. We're adding bike paths and walk paths to every road improvement that we do, every repaving project. And I don't have to say much about the educational system. The City of Gulf Shores has created its own school system at the bequest of the citizens, and that has had significant investment, continues to have significant investment, and there may at some point be a tax increase that's going to be needed to fund that school system or maintain and improve it, but that's going to be coming at the request of the citizens. Those items that you mentioned have been addressed, are being addressed, and will continue to be addressed.
Large events that are hosted in our area attract hundreds of thousands of visitors and help stimulate our local businesses throughout the year. Such large events have been proven to benefit our local economy, but must also be balanced with the local quality of life issues. Do you have a position on the concerns with our area hosting such events that attract large crowds to our city, and what might you do to address our citizens' concerns?
Our citizens' concerns are fair and logical for those that live more specifically in the area where those events take place. The Hangout Music Festival and the annual National Shrimp Festival are the two biggest events that impact what you call the public beach area, the intersection, the T, if you will. The way that the improvements were structured down there were to make those events easier to take care of. Now, the beach is closed the public beach is closed only during one of those events for about a 2-week period to set up and stage that event. It is a private event, it is a gated event, and it does impact traffic in that area. However, if you are a local person and know how the back streets, the back roads are, there are ways for you to avoid that intersection during that period of time. And I think that as a citizen, you've got to understand that every single solitary thing that takes place here, not everyone is going to be happy with. We have been accused of bringing those people to town. Well, those people are here all the time anyway, only for a certain event they may be attracted to one event. Now, in the local area, in the 2 or 3 block radius around that site, there are impacts to neighborhoods. There are pedestrian traffic that is unwanted. There is some trespassing that takes place. There are some parking issues. And at the bequest of the city, the developer, or rather the promoter, is working to address those issues that would have happened this year and would have been a wonderful way for us to test and see what the measures implemented would be. I think that the biggest heartburn is that the public beach area is closed during those times, and that's a fair and legitimate complaint. However, there are a number of accesses throughout the city where it is still free and available for you to park and walk and visit your beach. Your beach is not closed, and there's the State Park Beach only 3 miles to the east of us. So to say that that one area of the beach is closed is really not very fair to the promoter. They reimburse your city for every expense that they incur that we have to do to help them produce, and they share the revenue. The impact is significant, and I think that as regular people, good citizens, we can welcome anyone to our city and tolerate anything for just a short period of time for the better good of the revenue of the city.
What is your position on how the city could balance the desire to encourage economic development with the need to limit certain businesses from operating in the city? And more specifically, do you think the city should have a role in controlling access to available food options, such as allowing food trucks and other options to operate in the city or not? Do you think the city should play a role in that decision?
Well, there's a fine line there. I think that all of us would agree, and certainly business operators and owners would agree, that government is too involved in business at this time. I have always been a proponent of the, say, rolling food truck, even a push cart, a hot dog truck. Those options should have been available for years, and I've supported that for years. I'm not certain that I have gotten up on a stump and really made a lot of noise about it, but I think that business opportunities like that only enhance the offering in the city. I don't know that someone that visits a food truck at 3 in the afternoon is not going to go out to another business or, say, restaurant at night to experience their cuisine. The experience for a dine-out experience is very different from a dine-in experience. There's certainly enough business to go around for everybody as we have watched our business, our tourist community grow. But when that happens, it also opens opportunities for residents. I am certainly pro-business. It is hard to do business in the city of Gulf Shores. We had a lot of rules and regulations. Some of them are very onerous, but when you make it in Gulf Shores, you have really done something. But we hold a high bar to our businesses to operate effectively and efficiently. We have rules and regulations. We have sign ordinances. We have zoning ordinances, and those things are hard to comply with. But we want to make sure that the operators that are in this area are good operators that do a good job to serve our visitors as well as our residents in the off-season, because that's when we get to enjoy so much more than we would have if we put a limit on those things. I would certainly like to see the food truck option expanded. We are in the middle of a pilot program. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, a lot of the things we tried to experiment with have been put on hold because our world is just truly different now. I think that that's something we can see expanded and changed. But to answer your question specifically about business offerings, anyone can come here and apply for a business license. We're going to hand them the rule book. Either they're going to be able to follow the regulations and rules or they won't, and that is of their own choosing. But once you are up and operating in business, you will be held to a level of scrutiny that we exercise to protect the resident, to protect the visitor, to protect the diner, and to protect the business.